Hello everyone, my name is Salim and welcome to the Markets Breakdown Analysis for Monday the 23rd of October 2023. We'll be breaking down charts and show the exact zones who are perhaps close above potential buys or close below for potential sells as well. So looking at the previous weekly candle, the weekly closed bullish forming weekly support around 181.320, respecting this rejection week that was formed previously. When dropping down to the daily time frame, the daily candle also for Friday closed bullish forming daily support around 181.780. Now we're looking at the daily time frame. So within the weekly candle that was formed last week, when looking at the daily time frame, this is the daily candle that was formed on Monday closing bullish. The daily candle for Tuesday closed bearish, forming daily resistance around 182,660, rejecting the downside. And then from that point, as we can see, the daily has been consolidating within this range. And then when we measure this range, this is roughly around 180 pip range. So the first thing we're going to question here is why price didn't break above this daily resistance. So when we put a line to where this previous daily resistance formed on the left to have it as a potential target, is this daily resistance is the previous weekly rejection formed. So price made sense to respect this daily resistance and form a range because we've had a weekly rejection formed previously. So now to break down the chart and drop it down to the daily. So since the daily candle for Friday closed bullish forming daily support, price is still ranging within this daily consolidation zone. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to zoom in, drop it down to the 4-hour time frame, and what we can see here is we have the most recent 4-hour support formed around 181.490. For looking at the 4-hour resistance also formed around 182.530. We have a 4-hour rejection respecting this previous 4-hour resistance. So clearly we can see there has been some sort of a consolidation zone forming within the 4-hour time frame as well. Zooming in and dropping down to the hourly time frame, we have the most recent 1-hour support formed around 182.050. The most recent 1-hour resistance formed around 182.310. Dropping down to the 5-minute time frame, as we can see, the lower he dropped on the time frame, the more range we can see, and it looks really messy range basically to trade. So what we're going to do here is we're going to stick to the high time frame, and we're going to adjust it based on a high time frame as well. So looking at the 4-hour time frame, so I would say this is roughly around 75 pip range. So I'd say for potential buys, now the only problem here we have is we have a 4-hour rejection, we have an hourly resistance around 182.310. And then we also have this previous 1-hour resistance on the left around 182.440. Let's have a look on the 5-minute time frame. What I would say is, ideally, is to wait for price to break and close above 182.330 during high volume time. So we need to wait for price to break out of this range during high volume time. So we might see price breaking out of this range and then forming rejection and then retracing. But basically, the move is not expected to happen during the Asian session. Ideally, is to allow the Asian session to form a new range to set up basically the new weekly candle for the Monday. So potential buys above 182.330 based on the 4-hour time frame, and the potential sells. Now we do have an hourly support around 182.040. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, let's have a look on the hourly. We have an hourly support around 181.760 as well, looking at the 5-minute time frame. So it becomes really inconsistent. Ideally is to wait for price to break and close below this 4-hour support below 181.490 for potential sells. And this is going to be the no trade zone. And now to look for potential buys, I'm going back to the dailies, actually going back to the weekly. So since the weekly candle formed a support, now the question is this a weekly support? Is it strong enough to break above this rejection to continue bullish? Now, when dropping down to the daily, so the first thing we can see is we have a daily resistance formed around 182.660. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, we have a 4-hour resistance around 182.530. Let's have a look on the hourly time frame. We have an hourly resistance around 182.730. Probably we're going to stick to the high time frame. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have the first target for buys at 182.660, targeting this daily resistance formed on Tuesday last week. The second target for buys, now we have this rejection week that was formed last week. Drop it down to the daily time frame, a daily resistance around 183.530. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, now within the 4-hour time frame, we have this previous 4-hour support formed previously. Drop it down to the hourly, and what we do have here is also the previous 1 hour support around 183.240, but we need to see what's going on within this retracement within this hourly candle. So drop it down to the 5-minute time frame, and looking on the left, we have this 30-minute resistance around 183.140. So I'd say the second target for buys could potentially be 183.140, targeting this previous 1 hour support area, which is also the 30-minute resistance. And now to look for potential sells, and going back to the daily. So the first thing we can anticipate here is, since the weekly candle closed small bullish, forming like a weekly support, but respected this rejection wick, maybe the anticipation is to have the new weekly candle to break below this low and continue bearish. Now dropping down to the daily, actually the weekly, we're gonna identify this weekly support formed around 184. That's 185.10. Dropping down to the daily. Within a daily time frame, we have a daily support here, but let's have a look on the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame, now we have this range on the 4 hour time frame. The first 4 hour support we have is 180.900. Dropping down to the hourly time frame and looking on the left, and what do we see? We have also another hourly support, and we have this range in here, which it gets really, really messy on low time frame. So I'd say the first target for sells could potentially be this 4 hour support formed around 180.900. The second target for sells, now we can target this weekly support formed around 180.540.
Dominion Markets, your trading sanctuary.